Hey, this is a slightly more serious vlog or video than some of the others I've been doing, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit satirical. This is to do with community cohesion and how we've abdicated. Jesus, I'm losing the power of speech. That's because I run out of weed. Abdicated the responsibility to state for that, and it's done incrementally. It's what they call the totalitarian tiptoe, and we've slowly, where in the case of the UK or England, Lloyd George after World War II introduced this cradle to grave care system, and they call it a care system, and the people who work in it go into it because they do care. But actually, the system isn't about the sort of humanitarian agenda that you and I might imagine. It is far more likely, in fact, it's not even likely, it is the case that they intended always for the system to create dependence by by a percentage, if not all, of the people of the country. On the benevolence and the goodness and the power and the ability to kind of provide expensive treatments and that sort of thing. I lost my thread a bit, but really what we've been offered is this, or seduced by, is this medical system that is free to the user. But what I see actually is that the state is a little bit like this. It'll offer to hold your hand to get you across the road, but it doesn't want to let go when it gets to the other side. And now I see it here in England, where people are absolutely dependent on state, and I used to be the same. Fearing the potential need for medical interventions and of course child care and support and education and all that sort of thing. Well, I've obviously learned that, well, not obviously, but if this is the first time you've listened to me speak, then you may not know, but I realize now that the entire system has been rigged, and I'm doing everything that I can to step away from that. Why I was motivated to make this video today was because friends of mine in South Africa were sharing a story about how they, and this is very common now, how they're really being crippled by the medical bills to care for elderly family members. And in the case of my family here in England, my grandfather down in Dorset, he had a reasonably tidy estate by the end of his life, and his wife survived him for, I don't know, 10 years, and for a lot of that time she was in a care home. So whatever he'd worked for in his lifetime was given back to the state in the form of paying for her long-term care needs. And you might be thinking, well, that's how it is. We've got to pay for the services we use, and yes, that's the nature of this materialist system, is that it's all based on, if you want something, you have to give something in return, and that something is this paper fiat currency that some people can get very easily, and other people have to bust their balls to get a little bit of. And it does create a little bit of an imbalance, but I'm not really speaking on behalf of poor people. I'm speaking on behalf of everyone. Obviously, the wealthier that people are, the more they feel that they don't have to concern themselves with this too much. They can buy the care that they need when they need it. And then there's other friends who are so deeply embedded in government care and support that they also don't care. They'd much rather ensure that the government gets all the taxes it needs to continue to provide them with the services that they want. It is how it is. This is the system, and this is how the system was designed all the way back at Lloyd George and before. It was always intended to take people into this totalitarian dependency. What is the antidote to that? What's the answer? You might be asking. Well, this is why I made this video, and that is because I think that what we need to learn again or reconnect with is community. That community should be like a tribe. Originally, it was like a family or a community tribe or something like that. A village, perhaps a town, but now we all live in cities. So many of us live in cities. We're completely disjointed, disconnected, and so on. And families are spread across the plane, across the earth. You know, so it's hard to kind of be there for each other. And well, in my personal experience, I found that my family can't be there for me because they're too wrapped up in their own challenges, their own battles, their own idea of what is appropriate. So I think what we need to do is to start learning again how to. You might know I have a baby, a child, small boy, 13 months old, and so I've just been through the business of starting to raise this child without a grandma. No, that's not fair. There is a grandma nearby, but without the deeper community that perhaps mothers would have shared the responsibilities with each other in a deeper community. Anyway, my thoughts have been slightly interrupted by my wife and son coming home, so I'll try and wrap it up now. But I just wanted to say I think we need to all strive towards increasing our connections to our community. This way we can all help each other a bit more and become less dependent on a totalitarian system of control. Have a great day. Thanks.